What's up guys and welcome back! Today we have quite a few video cards to choose from, and even more exciting ones to come. But is the newest always the best one for your pocket? Well, today I will be benchmarking and comparing two $400 graphics cards. RTX 2060 Super, which is based on Turing architecture, as well as GTX 1080 Ti, which is based on Pascal architecture, and it was or even is one of the best video cards released. I will run through 10 games and a few 3D Mark benchmarks, so you could have a better picture and decide which one suits best for your needs. At first, let's compare the specifications of both cards. So I have an RTX 2060 Super WindForce OC 8G from a gigabyte. It's quite a basic 2-fan model with a 1680 MHz core clock, GDDR6 14,000 MHz memory and 8 GB of VRAM. As for GTX 1080 Ti, it's a decent model called GameRock from Palette. It features 1670 MHz core clock and 1708 MHz in OC mode, as well as older GDDR5X memory clocked at 11,000 MHz and 11 GB of VRAM. I've tested both of these paired with an i7 9700KF CPU, Z370 motherboard and 32 GB of RAM. In case you're curious how RTX 2060 Super performs paired with a Ryzen 5 3600 processor, I will put a link at the top right corner. Alright, enough about specs, and let's have a look into benchmarks. Firstly, we have 3D Mark Firestrike benchmark. Both cards got quite a nice scores, but we have a noticeable difference around 16% to 1080 Ti favor. In a more intensive DirectX 12 TimeSpy benchmark, the difference is smaller, but still 1080 Ti got 11% better score. Let's switch to gaming, since this is what we are interested in the most. First up we have Fortnite, and with both cards you can play at 144 Hz, having in mind I've used all settings on Epic. Looking at the average frame rate, GTX 1080 Ti was 12% faster, but the difference is quite minimal in 1% lows. And the performance of both GPUs was identical in CSGO. Both of them ensure a super high refresh rate gameplay and would be capable of handling a 240 Hz monitor. Next up we have one more popular battle royale game, Apex Legends. GTX 1080 Ti provides a better average and 1% low frame rate performance, getting 12% and 9% more FPS than 2060 Super. But in general, both cards gave a really smooth experience and both of them suitable for a high refresh rate gaming. League of Legends. With the highest settings in both cases, I've got over 250 FPS on average and over 180 FPS as 1% lows. And another less demanding game, Rocket League. As expected, you can easily game on a 240 Hz monitor, since we get more FPS than we actually need. But worth noting, comparing the average frame rate, GTX 1080 Ti was 16% faster here. In GTA 5 we have a really nice FPS number on both GPUs, even when using the highest settings. But 1080 Ti is taking a lead by 14% in average FPS and 20% better performance in 1% lows. You could bring down a few settings on a 2060 Super in order to achieve stable 144 FPS or more, but basically any of these two are capable of running high refresh rate sessions when gaming. Let's have a look at more demanding titles such as Shadow of a Tomb Raider. I've got 15% better results in average FPS with 1080 Ti. Both video cards performed way above 60 FPS line here. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is another CPU and GPU heavy title. On 1080p using ultra settings, both performed well and made it to the desired 60 frames. 1% lows were identical, but GTX 1080 Ti gave around 20% better performance in average FPS. Next up we have Hitman 2, and we have barely a few FPS difference in performance. So both GPUs managed to hit over 100 FPS on average, though GTX 1080 Ti was unbeatable in 1% lows territory, with 83 FPS, while 2060 Super managed to hit only 41 FPS here. Far Cry New Dawn is the last title I've tested. Similar to Hitman 2, I've got over 100 FPS on average on both GPUs, and both of them performed quite similar. And so we have just a few FPS difference. So it's time to wrap up our results. And so on average, GTX 1080 Ti was around 9% faster than RTX 2060 Super. On the other hand, 2060 Super managed to get a better FPS in a few older titles, but in general, it got outperformed by GTX 1080 Ti, at least in games I've tested. Well, RTX 2060 Super might have better driver support for upcoming new games, and so the difference might shrink in upcoming years. As well, you would get a warranty when buying this new card. But on the other hand, GTX 1080 Ti is still hell of a beast, managed to provide a better gaming experience, and having in mind it has more VRAM, it will stay for a while among the best performing cards for sure. I will put links to both GPUs in the description below. So the main pros and cons of both of these cards. RTX 2060 Super. New card warranty, possibly better driver support, dedicated cores for ray tracing acceleration. Cons: 9% lower gaming performance compared to GTX 1080 Ti, 3GB less VRAM. GTX 1080 Ti pros: 9% better gaming performance out of 10 games tested. Actually, 12% faster if we remove CSGO and League of Legends from the equation. 11GB of VRAM versus 8GB of VRAM on 2060 Super. Cons: used video cards have no warranty, more power draw than 2060 Super, so in some cases you might need a better power supply. In the end, it's up to you to decide which one to choose for your gaming rig, and I hope I managed to provide valuable insights and benchmarks in order to make it easier for you. So what do you think of these two graphics cards? Which one would you choose? Also, in case if you have any doubts or have any questions, just leave your comment below and I will get back to you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like it and subscribe, since you will help to bring even more content to this channel. Check out this other relevant content and see you in the next one!